A new lesson plan is being written, but not in the classroom. It's at the district level.
Carlton and Wrenshall could soon become one after a unanimous vote by the Carlton School Board to consolidate the two districts.
Northern News Now's Kyrie Johnson is in Carlton County tonight, where the groundwork for this major transition has already begun.
I'm here at the Carlton Middle School and High School, which will actually be merging with this school, which is in Wrenshall. I'm told the process could take up to 2 years, but the transition is in progress. Andrew Tuttle is a local parent with 2 kids enrolled in the Carlton School District. Tuttle worries about upgrades that the school buildings are in need of in a few years, saying that the financial pressure of having 2 buildings may bring about rushed decisions.
They've bled money doing it that way, and I foresee the same problem happening if they continue a 2-site system in the future. So I'm all for consolidation. I want them to do it smartly, correctly.
With the unanimous vote by the school board Monday night, the district is moving forward with plans to consolidate with Wrenshall. The vote ends a decades-long conversation about merging Carlton with another small district. School leaders say the biggest factors behind the decision were declining enrollment and ongoing financial issues.
I don't want to be another superintendent that has come and gone and failed in getting these 2 school districts together.
Superintendent Messman says the response has been positive from a majority of the community, even while lots of questions remain.
You know, we all have questions. Change is difficult, you know, especially when, we're in a nice little tight community, a small rural school district.
Messman tells me a merged district would offer stronger extracurricular and athletic programs for students. Tuttle worries other parents in the district may have too many fears about the big transition to fully commit to the plan.
I think people shouldn't be afraid of change. I think they should embrace it. A lot of us get stuck in our ways and fear change.
Superintendent Messman encourages anyone to reach out with questions or concerns. In Wrenshall, Kyrie Johnson, Northern News Now.
Now, Carlton has 260 kids in kindergarten through 12th grade. Wrenshall has about 330.
The district is looking at a number of different building consolidation scenarios, which will be decided at a later date.